Let's now move the snow game file to the server, and I'm going to move it to a folder called test for now, and then we'll move it to a proper folder shortly. But if you have some trouble using FTP for whatever reason, you can actually go into Kali Linux and set the permissions. You can actually make the directory, the test directory, and then change the permissions if you do have any challenges uploading the file from your machine to the server. To do that, you can type in mkdir and the test directory, and then you can do another command called chown, and we want to create the permissions for the test directory, and with the proper permissions we do it with the chown command, and that should enable you to upload the snow game file easily to the folder. Once the file is in the test folder, we want to move that file to the proper directory, which is the games folder. So let's go in and do that. And if we go to the listing of the directory, we'll see there's a test directory. Let's go to that directory and we should see the snowgame.exe file. So let's copy cp, that's the command we use to move this file or copy this file from this folder to the var games directory. So we type in var www and then it's games. Once we have that, we can go to that games directory and let's have a look at the file structure and if the file is available. Here we have the snow game file. Now, if that's available, we can go to a browser window and confirm the file is actually there. So we go to a browser window and we can just go to localhost/games and view the file within that directory listing if you have enabled directory listings. So localhost/games will give us the directory structure and hopefully that file name listed there. So /games, and let's look at the directory structure, and we should see the snowgame.exe file here. Now, if the listing is available, the user could click on the snowgame.exe and download it. I will show you shortly that there may be an error because of the full directory not being there, but by copying the full listing, this is the actual path name. You have localhost here, but if you do have an actual live IP address, you would simply use the localhost instead. You'd use the IP address instead of localhost, like 192.168.0.56.1 or 56.102, whatever the IP address of that machine is, you'd list it there. So if the victim's machine had to load the file from their PC, they would point to this particular directory and get the file. So let's now go to the actual PC, the Windows XP machine, and let's perform the similar task there. So if I go to the IP address 192.168.56.102/games, we see the listing of snowgame.exe here. If I then act like the victim's machine and click on the link and then download the file, we see if I save the file will be saved. But when I run this particular application, it should throw an error because it doesn't have all the files or the proper directory structure here. So as we'll see, there's an error. And because of this error, we can then go back to the FileZilla program and make sure that we upload the whole directory. So let's do that now and go in and make sure. So if you do see this error, the error is most likely caused because you've only uploaded the snow game file and not the full directory structure. So let's type in test and port 22, and let's go in and copy the whole Snowcraft directory across to this folder on the server. Let's try that again. Drag the whole directory across, and now that's copying the whole directory. Once that is done, we then want to move that to the proper games folder. So let's do that, and let's do a listing again and copy the home test Snowcraft directory, and we'll copy that to the var games directory. I'll put a -r command to make sure that it copies all the files, and let's move it to that particular folder, and let's have a look if the files have been copied across. And there we see a directory called Snowcraft, and what we now want to do is zip that Snowcraft folder. To do that, I need to use the zip command, and I want to then name the file something like snowcraft.zip, and then I want to make sure I select the folder, Snowcraft folder, and that will zip that file. I also want to add the -r tag to recursively zip the files. Sorry, I need to put an extra space there, and that should zip all the files into a zip file. So we see snowcraft.zip. Now all we need to do is then go to the victim's machine, and instead of downloading just the exe file, we want the user to download the zip file, then extract the files to a directory, and then run it in that way. And we will see the Snowcraft program open, and we'll also see the netcat utility called chest open up as well. So here we have the zip file, downloaded that. Let's double click the Snowcraft file, and we'll see that it has a number of files within it as we had discussed previously. And look into this folder, we see the directory listing. Let's run that, and now the game should open, and we see the netcat utility called chest listed in the background. Here's the game all working. We now have the ability to then monitor on port 4444 exactly what's happening on this particular machine. And now I'll show you exactly how we can take control of the victim's machine. Let's go back to netcat on the Kali Linux machine. So NC, and we need to go to the IP address 192.168.56.103, and we want to put in the port 4444. And as you can see here, it's showing me Microsoft Windows XP. So here I am in the tools Snowcraft directory on the Windows XP machine. This is a reverse shell of Windows XP. I can do a directory listing. I can see exactly what files are here, and you can pretty much do anything you want because now a reverse shell has been opened on that Windows machine. The user has simply downloaded a zip file, and now we can see their IP address. We can then look at their task list and see exactly what files are running on this machine, and you pretty much have complete control of the victim's machine. So let's go and have a look at the task list. You'll see the chest.exe file running. We'll see the Snowcraft and Snow game files running as well. So we can actually see what programs are running and pretty much get control of this particular machine. So very simply, we've been able to simply get the user to download a zip file, and the zip file impersonates a game on the front end, but behind the scene, it's opened up a reverse shell for us to basically be able to take control of the victim's machine.